Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. What makes couples stay together? Now, one of my subscribers, he wanted this, but he didn't mention whether or not he wanted me to give him a shout out, so I don't do that unless someone gives me permission. So if brother, if you want to shout yourself out in the comments, please do. Please do. Anyway, what makes couples stay together? Now, this is based on my own personal experience, but mainly the experience of observing like long-time couples. And I'm talking about like people, contemporaries who are still in happy relationships, marriages, living together, cohabitating. And really, if you stay together with somebody, depending on the state long enough, y'all considered married. So that's a long relationship, right? And you know, I'm limited it to not just couples who stay together, but happy couples. And we've met them. We've met them. You see them. Sometimes you might see that couple elders on a park bench and stuff, and they holding hands and everything. And you know, I remember when I was in a department store. I was talking with one of the sales associates, one of my little buddies and whatnot, right? And this couple came in, and they had to be probably in their late 50s, early 60s. The vibe they had with each other, I thought they were going to make love right there in the middle of the floor. I know they were just, they were just fun. You could just tell they were together. So, you know, I'm going to talk about what I've observed in couples, happy couples that stay together. Yeah, and I should put that in title. Nah, I already did the title. Anyway, right? One of the things, there's several things I peeped. One of the main things is just physical compatibility. Like the couple has to like looking at each other. Straight up. Now I know we've said some stuff with looks and everything, and I've admonished especially black women for just focusing on looks, but see, that's just the key. Just focusing on looks. I don't say there's any problem with it. I just say it's a problem if it's just looks. But it's a part of it. I mean, and it still has to be realistic. But at the minimum, you have to like looking at the person. Now, you know, a lot of times, let's be real now. Most people, very few people are just bone ugly out there, just bone physically unattractive, right? And usually if they are, they usually got some other issues anyway. But most people are decent looking. It's easy for two people to at least like looking at each other and having some physical compatibility. And that's actually deeper too, because that physical compatibility even extends to the bedroom. Basically, y'all parts got to fit together. Right, you know, and it's that carnal thing. It's there for a reason. It's just a matter of keeping it in perspective, right? But you can't park yourself there. You know, you can't just park yourself there. Just say, "Oh yeah, we like looking at each other. We turned on by each other and all of that," and just say that's gonna work. Nah, that got about a good 3 months. I used to say 6 months, but stuff is quickening. Really, about a good week, couple weeks and whatnot, right? But that's an important part. I mean, you know, the sex life needs to be there to keep everybody happy. It's important, right? And a big part of that is the physical thing. But that's just one part. The other part is the couple has to have their personalities got to click. Okay, good. They in the bedroom. They like each other's like body parts or face or whatever. Okay, but when they not having sex or planning for sex, they got to still be able to deal with each other. You know, they at least have to be able to talk to each other. One of the biggest reasons relationships fail, really, honestly, even though that we say money, and a lot of us, there's a strong argument for that. People say sexual incompatibility, strong argument for that. A lot of it's just communication. You could probably say, if you get two people who are having problems in a relationship, they just stop and talk about the shit and what's going on, that would make it. If they just say, a lot of times couples break up because one is afraid to say to the other, look, I need you to do this for me, you know, or this is what's going on with me. It's communication. Because one thing, and you know, I heard about this from an elder who was married to her husband shoot, 50, 60 years until he passed away. She's still going though, but you know, and she was like communication. You know, talk it out. You know, a lot of times people don't talk. You know, and it's funny out here, if people talk about something, they get the right idea about each other, they could do it. But, you know, it's that personality thing, though. They still got to click. A lot of times what happens is people see somebody they're physically attracted to, but their personalities aren't the same. You know, and I know lately I've been talking about, you know, the unrealistic expectations of particularly black women. That's another issue. It's like, how do you know you clicking? I mean, that guy might be drop dead handsome and, you know, he might have money and all that stuff, but how you know your personality's going to click? Because shoot, I'm not going to lie. If I had to choose one or the other, I'd choose the personality thing because I can work with you in the gym or something if I don't like your body. Seriously. You know, and bodies change anyway. But that personality thing, that shit, that's that thing. If you're talking long term, because there's going to be changes anyway. You know, weight's going to go up and down. You know, circumstances going to change. So shoot, you need to at least be able to be compatible there. But see, those aren't the only two things though. No, physical and a personality compatibility. You still got to have a value system. I'm gonna tell you what. See, I don't really get into religion on this channel. You know, and even when I get around to doing that deep thought channel, I'm still not going to get into like specific doctrines of folks. Right. That being said, it's been my observation that a family that follows the same, like a couple that follows the same spiritual path, have a better chance of staying together than a couple who got stuff that's all over the place. You know, say what you want. You know, I know some people out here, you know, you got some supporters of Christianity out here, some detractors. You got some supporters of Islam and some detractors. Judaism, you know, in as many forms. You got some spiritualists, metaphysicians. If you with that person, they need to be on that same path. Y'all need to see eye to eye. Because think about how deep religions are. If you really look at the world today, and this is definitely something for the Deep Thought channel, most of the conflicts are really based on religion. That's how deep it is. So if you imagine you got nations ready to go to war with each other over religion and their interpretation, even within it, you know, people, you know, you get two sects of the same religion who will go to war with each other. So what's going to happen? You got that in a family home. You know, since many people, if they either practice Christianity or at least familiar with it, and who are in my listening audience, you know, sometimes it could be a big difference if one is Baptist and the other is Catholic. You know, you could say, well, we still worshiping the same God. You still worshiping the same God, but you know, it's different ways. That can cause an issue. You know, religion. Let's see, politics. You know, like they say, you don't discuss religion, you don't discuss politics. That's because they cause conflicts when people discuss them. All right? But people need to be on the same page there. You know, you people, socioeconomically, people have to be on the same page. All right? You know, if you got one person, like the class issue, like my brother Obsidian is very good with bringing up the class issue. And I mean, I'm glad he does because, to be honest, I can't think of anybody else who does. If anybody else does, like, yeah, give me a link to their channel. But he's the only one who does it consistently. You know? He's the only one who does it consistently. Like that whole blue, the blue collar, white collar thing. Actually, Hardcore Tito has talked about it in a recent video. So, okay, that's two people right there. But you don't really hear it otherwise. Right? You really don't hear, like, the whole, you know, there's a class difference. Like, if you have, like, say you got a man, right? Since it's mostly African Americans who listen to it. I mean, I know I got people all over the world, but mostly African Americans. There's a big difference in the mindset between, say, a man who comes from the black upper middle class, those boule type of brothers, or brothers and sisters rather, and some sister who's coming straight from the hood. Even if they have a physical compatibility, some personality compatibility, even if they the same religion, heck, they could have met at the church. If you got one that has a certain mentality, which it is a difference. It is a difference. I actually need to do a video on that. You know what? There's another one. I could do that one on this channel or the Deep Thought channel, right? But it's going to be a difference in how they look at things. One might have an abundance mentality because they just see the abundance everywhere, come from a long line of business people or something like that. Where the other one has a poverty mentality where it's like as soon as that money hits, they spend it. And that's something I experienced personally. And trust me, it can cause a problem. You can be very fond of the person, but if your money philosophy is put it in a savings account or put it into an income producing asset, or save up money for a business, and the other person is, hey, you know what, the new Jordans are out, or let's go get that TV, or let's go shopping, as soon as the paycheck comes, let's hit the shopping mall like that day, so sometimes that minute, or even what I've heard, what happened in like some Walmarts or something, as soon as that EBT comes through. It's like they say people, like women, will be like in line at midnight, and as soon as they wait for their EBT to go through. That's a different mindset. Now the couple could like each other, and there's an argument. I know you have that whole thing of hypergamy where a woman would try to move up in social class, which it can happen if she's attractive enough, but the reality is that relationship is just that's a sugar daddy relationship. That's just based on sex. We're talking about a happy couple. So, they need to be on the same page with that. It is what it is. So, if you want the couples to stay together, they got to be, got to have a physical thing, got to have a personality thing, the value thing, and ultimately going in the same direction. They need to have a complementary mission in life. If you get one who wants to open up like an independent school, and the other one who wants to work in corporate America, they could get along on all these other things, but that can cause a conflict. That can cause a conflict. And then, I'm going to add one more to it. The couple has to want to be with each other. Just on a pure basis, just want to be with each other. Because people who truly want to be with each other, they're going to find a way to work it out. And also, too, I keep coming up with more. One thing I've noticed about happy couples, they're fucking realistic about life, man. They are realistic about life. They're not in a fairy tale. Because even though I've had some videos talking about women being in some fantasy stuff, sometimes men can be there too. A few. Not to the same extent, because men in this country, especially black men, we get reminded very quickly that things aren't a fairy tale. There's consequences. But you can get a few here and there. But the thing is, just knowing, what shit going to happen. There's going to be times where no matter how much you get along with this person, no matter how much you love them, you ain't going to want to see them. There's going to be times their breath is going to be bad. There's going to be some times they're going to say something to get on your nerves. But see, that's where that communication comes up. The value system, you can work through it. So anyway, that's it for today. Talk to y'all later. Peace.